Chewy. Chewy, is that you? Chewy, I can't see, pal. What's going on? Luke? Luke's crazy. He can't even take care of himself, much less rescue anybody. A Jedi Knight? Jeez, I'm out of it for a little while and everyone gets delusions of grandeur. Welcome back, everybody. Here's part 8. You should just stop paying attention to what part it is and what issue it is because these are all going to get pretty much blurred together. So, as I mentioned before, a lot of this one is all about kind of making, putting it all together and everything. Well, I can't get it put together until I paint the top part. I got to paint all the little detail parts and stuff on the top, of which these two are going to be a couple of them. So we are going to get these painted, and it's going to take a little bit of effort. I've got a handful of images to choose from, and I'm just going to get those pulled up here so I can have a quick look. I pulled them off and gathered them up last night, but I got to find them again. And so I've just got a handful that I need to worry about. So we can get this up here. So if we look at this front part, right? So if we're talking about this one, this section, so this part here, there's pretty much only really like one section here that we have to worry about. And then there's this section back here, starts somewhere around here. Let me look here, I think. Yeah, starts right here, and it just kind of fades. So I might see about, masking this off and then kind of starting here with maybe a hard, semi-hard line. So I'll mask across there, and then just kind of fade it down. So I might see about doing that. That'll probably be the easiest way to do it, and I can do it while it's masked. And then of course there's this gray section that goes right here, and then over in this part we've got some other bits and pieces that we need to do. So just having a look here. So again, this is right here is where the rectenna is. So we're going to have this gray strip that goes along here. This one is going to have a gray patch. There's going to be another gray patch up through here. There's going to be like this off grayish color, similar to what we did here. And that's going to be up here. And I'll have to kind of pull it around. And then there's right along here, there's going to be another little gray square that goes right through there. And I'll have to pull in a couple others just to make sure that I get them all kind of taken care of. But so that's where the majority of the painting is going to be, is just on this one. When we're talking about this anyway, it's just going to be over here, not so much on this main section here. There's a lot of weathering that goes there. We're not going to worry about the weathering right now. We'll weather the entire top together. Then we have this. And so I did have this screwed on, and the problem with this being screwed on is this is going to go something like that. And then, these are magnetic. But the problem is that this doesn't want to slide up underneath there very well. And so if I ever want to take this off, it's going to be a real pain. So if we have the time, I'm going to get my magnets out and we're going to magnetize this to the frame. But in the meantime, we're going to paint this. And so this one has a couple of different colors. So we've got on this back side, we've got a gray square here. This part here is gray, like a darker gray, slightly darker than this one. This one's a fairly dark one. Then there's this section through here that goes basically this triangle, and it looks kind of discolored. So might have to see about how I'm going to do that. And then there's these two sections here that are red. So we'll be painting red. So most everything's going to be gray. I might see about what I can do here to kind of off color it. And I'll find a little bit better. I got some cracks in here. Never noticed that before. But, oh well, I can't fix it now. Not a whole lot I can do about it. Wish I would have found that earlier. I could have tried to fix it, but I am not going to fix it after all this time. Um, yeah, so it goes along with all the other spots where I had all the cracks and stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on that. I think we'll start by getting this masked off, particularly this nose section. Um, see if I can find. Uh, let me pull up the image here. So as you can see, um, the gray kind of goes back here a ways, and then it goes all the way up and then across a little bit, and then it's going to come back down pretty much to the front here. So yeah, we're going to have our work cut out for us on this one. And of course, we're going to be using some of this nice fancy tape, and because I really like it and it works really well and all of those things. Yeah, so that'll work. Um, we'll get this part painted, then we'll work on this part. So this, I'm just going to kind of just try to fade it down and see how it goes. Have to trust that I can get it done, right? It's going to be kind of somewhat heavy up here, but it needs to be heavy and dark, but still kind of transparent. So I'm gonna have to make sure that that's fairly watered down or thinned down. So it'll still be heavy and whatnot, but not so thin that it just splatters everywhere, right? Something more than just a wash. So we're gonna do that, and then we'll get do this painted. So this one we're gonna go with our good friend neutral gray, and then we'll do this one here, and that one back here we'll probably go with a little bit of the Jeremy gray thin down. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll paint this one up first, make sure that it comes out okay. I'm a little bit worried because it's got kind of this loose paint. I mean, in reality, the the color of the masking is probably close to about right. But let's go ahead and get started. I'll get all that done. We'll come back after I get this painted. All right, let's see how it came out. There we go. That's probably a tad dark, but um, there are some techniques that you can do to lighten that up, which I will probably do. All I have to do is take probably a little bit of this light gray, which is about the same color, and just very lightly dust it. I'll practice that technique pretty heavily on one of these, one of these scrap pieces or something before I do that. But just to lighten it up just a little bit. But I'm pretty happy with how that came out. Yeah, I actually peeled a little bit of paint off, but that's okay because it can just be weathering. All right. So let me do a little bit of checking. I'm going to look for some other pictures and stuff just to make sure I get the full breadth of what's got to go on here. And then we'll get started on that. So give me a few and I'll be right back. I've looked at everything and ready to kind of get stuff. I think I'm going to have to take this in sections. So the first thing I'm going to do is mask this part off for these, and then I think I'll mask this section off, and I'll paint these two separately, and then I can come back and paint this. Reason why I'm doing that is because like there's a section butted up right here. Let me show you this image here. So there's a section butted up to the left of this dark panel section, and then there's another section up at the top butted up there. And so I'm gonna have to, mask them off in sections or whatever. So I figured might as well just kind of start off that way, and um, that way I can paint them, let them dry, all that kind of fun stuff before I move on. All right, let's see how we did. There's a little bit of, I don't know, got it too much thinner over on this side, and it kind of splattered around. I could have cleaned that up, but I decided to leave it because, hey, there's going to be stuff like that all over the place anyway, so I wasn't worried about it. You can kind of see some of the fading, and I'm even okay with that because I'm going to have to do some of that stuff myself anyway. So, yeah. Let's just see how the rest of this came out. As long as it didn't bleed underneath too terribly bad. Got a little bit of bleed under there. See if we can't clean that up. And you can really tell the difference here. It's subtle, but at the same time it's not, right? So I went very light, which is what I wanted to do. And I masked that really, really well, I feel like. Went really, really light. It was supposed to be heavier over on this corner. Let me kind of bring this up so you can see. So it's supposed to be heavier and darker over in this corner. Probably could use a touch of like a darker gray or something, but there's going to be other weathering that's going to go on here. So let's see if we can't clean that up a little bit. I've had some decent luck with 70% isopropyl. We'll try that again. I'm just gonna, I don't want to have too much on the micro brush here. Yeah, see? 70% isopropyl helps take care of that, cleans it up. There we go. Perfect. All right, so there's that. I am going to let this set, and then tonight, before I go to bed, I'm going to let this set up a little bit, and then I'm going to clear coat it, because then tomorrow I'm going to have to mask along this line and that line to paint these other sections, and I want to make sure that I get, this is going to be sealed in and all that kind of stuff. So I'll do that tonight before I go to bed, which won't be too much longer. So far, looking good, I think. We'll see you tomorrow when I get started on this next part. See you then. All right, here we are. We're going to move on. We've got 2 more spots we need to paint here. One's going to be fairly simple. The other one's going to be a big pain in the butt. So this one here, this whole section is going to be, I'm going to use this color. So this is going to be this. I mixed these two together to get that yesterday, and now it's just going to be straight this. So it's light sea gray. So it's kind of a more of a brownish color. Then I have to figure out what I'm going to do here. What I might do is, because this is going to be a very faint color, so what I might do is use mostly this with just like a couple drops of that. So let's go ahead and get started, get this masked off. So I used a different, let's see if you guys see, it's got a slight little sheen to it. So I used a different matte paint. I used a Hodgepodge matte, and I don't know what the deal is, why they keep saying that they're actually matte, because I would expect matte to come back fairly dull. I don't know which is supposed to be more dull, matte or flat, but it just doesn't feel like it's quite right. You know what I mean? All right, I'm going to mix up the paint. We're going to paint this one first, and we'll come back and paint that one. Nice and simple. Actually, I might paint that one first, because then all I have to do is just add some of this to it. So, yeah, I'll go get that painted, and then we'll come back and you can see what it looks like. Well, we are done painting. Let's see how it looks. Get all this tape off. Lots and lots of tape. So I feel like that is a little bit darker than I wanted it. It's not like horrible. I mean, I can lighten it up. I kind of like how this came out, a little soft in spots and whatever. I didn't quite get all the way back behind there. You may be able to see just a little bit of white, but I feel like I got this seam pretty well. And see, you can see how flat that is. That's what I would expect matte to be, not this kind of light sheen. I mean, that's like semi-gloss. I don't understand their definition of matte and whatever, but this is done. We're gonna change our efforts over to the gun turret section, and we only have a small few things. I might have to do a little bit of research and figure out how I'm going to do that. One section looks like it's kind of like it got this mildly orangish tint to it. So we'll kind of play with that a little bit and see what we can figure out. But let's go ahead and get switched over to that. All right, I've done all the little additional research that I needed to do, and time to do some masking. So I've got this new tape This is called frog tape. I don't know where the end is. It's supposed to have some extra stuff on it that helps stop from bleeding, but I don't know if it works. But we're gonna try it out anyway, because why not? All right, there we go. That's pretty much everything. Masked off. I am not sure what I think of this frog tape. I like the size. It's kind of nice to be able to get around, but it seems flexible, but at the same time, it doesn't probably doesn't help that I got the tape that was supposed to be for delicate things because I didn't want it to like rip off paint, but it doesn't seem to want to be like super stuck down or whatever. So I'm gonna have to maybe do some light passes with certain things, just to kind of seal the edges, so to speak. So I'll have to do that. So I'm not really sure what I think of it. It's a bit pricey, so you know, take that for whatever it's worth. So what I'm going to do, I did this little experiment, and so this is Model Master Neutral Gray, and this is Tamiya Neutral Gray. And as the Model Master dries, it does get a little bit darker. You can kind of see that where the outside edge is starting to dry, it's getting a little bit darker. Whereas the Tamiya starts off kind of darker already. So the reason why I'm looking at that is because on the bottom, whenever I painted the red, I always did a backing of the gray first. So I was looking back through my old details, and I should probably look at the video, but I was looking at what I recorded down, and I kept saying the Model Master Neutral Gray. And at the same time I was putting the red down. So I would like to think that's that's what I used, but I don't know. The one reason why I like the idea of using this is because I can paint this for all 4 spots, and then all I have to do is I'm going to come back with a light coating towards the middle and leave the edges kind of the lighter gray, and kind of give it like a two-tone fade type thing. And then here I just would have to do red. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, is just do this. We'll see how it goes. If the red's a little bit different, it's not gonna be the end of the world. So let's go ahead and get going with that. I'll see you when it all gets painted. Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty happy with how that came out. I was able to make that look like a straight line like it's supposed to. And I actually forgot to mask this off. I had to hurry and grab the tape and do that. And I feel like I got a pretty good kind of faded whatever there. And the red turned out just the way I'd expect it and the way I'd want it. Just to kind of show the difference of the red. So this red streak, that's the red. And then you can see it's kind of comes out to more of an orangish rust type red here. And so, yeah, the gray worked out perfect for that. And I like how that came out. So, pretty happy with that. I will seal that up. Um, but that covers everything. And I'll seal up what I painted here as well. That covers everything for this episode. So that's the end of episode 8. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And we will be moving on to the rest of the top section to get these little spots put on there. I'm just going to have to take them probably section by section because there's so many spots. What I might end up doing, instead of section by section, maybe I'll just do all the same color so I don't have a bunch of different color changes, which is a big problem right at the moment. It's just such a pain to change the colors. So I can just paint one color, and that might make my life a little bit easier. So might be what we end up doing. So I will see you guys in the next one. May the force be with you always.